So today we got Apocalypse of the Gods chapter number 11, and in this chapter we're going to get to the start of round number 3 of the tournament. Before that though, as always, if you enjoy the content like what you see here, make sure to subscribe, like this video, so you stay up to date with all the Ragnarok news and content. With that being said, let's get into it. We start where we left off last chapter, of course, with Wukong making his proclamation that humanity's extinction is now cancelled because he is now fighting essentially for humanity. The gods are now extremely pissed with Wukong. They're saying, don't mess with us, crawl back into your hole, you little old ranker, and giving him the usual hostile crowd environment for anybody on the side of humanity. We then see two new characters, both stated to be subordinates of Zeus. The first we see is Nike, the goddess of victory, and the next one we see is Zealus, the god of competition. It seems Nike says, as I suspected, it's turned into a most frightful situation. Zealus says, quite. Nike continues and says, although, given Lord Zeus's personality, such a situation is not unexpected. He just said, how fun, as if this all could be settled so easily and it didn't matter to him. So it tells you that Zeus is not shaken by Wukong's proclamation. He lives for this type of shit. Again, may lead to Zeus joining the tournament later, as a lot of people suspect. Zealus then says, Nike, quickly assemble the Divine Honor Guard. That'll be interesting to find out who the Divine Honor Guard is. And Nike says, big brother. Zealus continues and says, our duty is ensuring Ragnarok's successful completion. Anything that might hinder our goal, even a participant in this apocalypse, I have no qualms in eliminating them, even if that means going against Lord Zeus's will. So these guys, the direct subordinates of Zeus, they're tasked with making sure everything goes smoothly. It seems that Zealus thinks that's right. Sun Wukong, the great sage, is not the only dangerous element at play. We basically cut to another scene where Zealus and Nike are walking through the palace, and they walk into this room and there's just absolute carnage in there. It looks like a ton of guards have been slaughtered. The entire environment's been wrecked. And Zealus says, what is this? What violent beast has unleashed themselves within our palace of Olympus? We then see who this person is that caused all this destruction, and it is of course Belial, the guy we saw last chapter with the epithet the Untouchable. He looked like he had a keen eye on Wukong. Potentially could be setting up a matchup between him and Wukong in the finals, maybe if he was to make it that far. But he is actually watching a play reenactment of Zeus versus Cronus, and it actually looks like it's animated. It is super cool that they have this shit going on within the verse. It says, the pictures are moving. What even is this? Some sort of play? The hell has been so easy going recently. Haha, how fun. Go get him. Smash him up. So he's just having a blast watching this shit, and then all of a sudden, Zealus walks in his room and says, do not move. And he draws his sword toward Belial, and Nike has her sword out as well. Belial then half turns around and says, what? It was right at the good part. Nike says, big brother. Zealus says, no mistake. I remember his appearance being described in the reports. There's no doubt this is him. The outer god all of us were once forbidden to have any contact with, due to his overwhelming degree of danger. And the image here that's shown when he says this is actually crazy. I don't know if this is Belial's transformation that we're going to see later, or just what people think he looks like, but this actually looks insane. We again see the epithet Untouchable, and then we see the name Belial. Zealus says, you scum, committing such barbaric acts inside our sacred palace, do you truly believe such barbarity will be allowed? Belial then laughs and mocks Zealus, says, do I believe it'll be allowed? Really? You seem to be looking at this the wrong way, aren't you? And right when he says this, he was in a seated position. He immediately is in Zealus' face. He blitzed the fuck out of him. It's clear that neither Nike nor Zealus were prepared for that level of speed. They're wide-eyed, they're completely shocked, they're sweating. And Belial says, surely you don't believe. And at that point, we see Zealus looking down. He cannot attack with his sword. Belial puts his hand on the sword and says, I can be controlled? Both of us are gods, aren't we? Between fellow gods, there is no be allowed nor allow, and there is no being controlled either. You just do what you want. And while this is going on, we see that Belial puts like his pinky on the actual blade of the sword. And what's happening is that we see like clear strain in Zealus' face, that he is clearly trying to move the sword. He's trying to attack Belial, but he cannot move at all. And Belial is putting in the least amount of effort possible, just using his singular pinky to apprehend Zealus. Now it seems that Nike is screaming out for her brother. She seems to be preparing to attack, but then right as Belial says, you do just what you want, we see this statement that says that is what it means to be a god. And then blood splatters all over the place and we don't see what happened. So Belial probably just killed Zealous, maybe killing Nike as well. I mean, he didn't have to kill them, but he definitely did massive amounts of damage to them, sending a message. So this is going to build up even more for Zeus because these people directly work for him. What do you guys think that Belial the Untouchable's ability truly is based on this information? Seems he has some kind of stun paralysis type of aura that doesn't allow his opponents to attack. But I'm interested what your guys' thoughts are on that. We now cut back to the arena and we're kicking into the start of round 3. We see that the arena has been fixed up and Shiva says, all right then, finally it's Indra's turn. Shiva looks really cool here. He's flanked by Brahma and all the other gods we really saw in his flashback, aside from Rudra. I'm pretty sure the 2 gods we see here are Varna and Agni. Agni is the fire god and then Varna is the skinnier one. It seems Agni says, and his opponent, Varna replies, ah well, and Brahma finishes it off saying it's Suzaku. Outer god Unfair, once feared throughout Valhalla as the divine professional, one of the legendary 4 gods assassination corps. We see Suzaku's group there, and he is the leader, says Brahma. So Suzaku is the leader of this feared assassination group. We've already got some insight into this group, but now we get the epithet for Suzaku, which is the Unfair. Varna says assassination what? And Vishnu says, so what you're saying is Indra cannot be negligent here. Varna says, oi Shiva, what do you think? And Shiva says, don't know. They all say, huh? What the hell, Peak of Svarga? Quit playing dumb. Give us a serious answer, damn it. And Shiva says, quit being so loud. Back then, I wasn't the one who fought Indra. It was Rudra. And actually, me and Indra have never fought one-on-one. And besides, that was long ago. As he was when he lost, the Indra from back then, for him to be the same, there's no damn way. So this is telling us Indra is going to be stronger than when he lost to Rudra. But there might be even more information that could potentially change the hierarchy of the Hindu gods a little bit later. Which is why, as far as how strong he is now, I don't know. At any rate, let's just shut up and watch our friend kick some ass. So all the Hindu gods seem to be, pleased with this statement. Shiva looks unbothered. Shiva seems to believe that Indra has this in the bag. We now see Indra. Apocalypse Arena fighter passageway, so Indra's on his way to the arena. And he's stopped in the hallway by White Tiger, I believe, one of the 4 assassination gods, one of Suzaku's men. White Tiger says, yo, you're Indra, right? And Indra says, you need something? And Tiger says, I know your match is soon, so sorry about this. But as a martial artist, I request a bout. Indra says, huh? Tiger says, Indra, even in our world, you're well renowned. This is a rare opportunity. As a lowly warrior god, I must cross fists with you. Indra takes a puff. He says, your name. This is a really cool panel, by the way. Says, your name. And Tiger says, Baihu. Baihu, I see. And the guy behind me, your name. So Indra sensed that there was another one behind him. This is another one of the assassination gods. I believe this is Black Tortoise. And Tortoise says, oh dear me. And here I thought I'd suppressed my killing intent. Oh dear. And Indra's unbothered says, that's some real shallow suppression. So proves that characters in Ragnarok obviously have sensory abilities, can sense one's presence. At this point, Tiger says, oh man, the Unfair won't believe this. Damn, the jig is up, I guess. Well, in that case, time for us to act, and both Tiger and Tortoise start moving toward Indra with pure killing intent. Tiger says, time for us to act like proper assassination gods. Any means necessary. That's the motto of the 4 gods. And this is a pretty cool panel. They're staring down Indra. Indra now smiles and says, sounds good, let's do it. He's preparing to fight them 2v1. We cut back to the arena now as Yara is announcing that the round is beginning. Everyone, thank you for waiting. Apocalypse round 1, our 3rd match is about to begin. So facing the Indian Pantheon's thunder god Indra is Suzaku the Unfair, says Hermes. This is one to watch. Ares says, Hermes, just now you called him unfair. And Hermes looks at Ares a little surprised and says, surely you know, don't you? And Ares just lies here. He says, are you serious? I'm the god of war, aren't I? Of course I know. I'm just making sure you know, okay? And then Hermes just kind of like ignores him and says, well, that's good. And Ares says, anyway, no matter how unfair he is, in a match like this with everyone's eyes on him, he can't pull off any tricks or nefarious tactics like that, can he? And Zeus chuckles and says, outer god Unfair is often said. His other name, though, is the divine professional. Any job he's given, he will assuredly complete. His completion rate is 100%. He's a professional through and through. So they're giving him the gimmick of the professional assassin that does anything to win. And to get it done, anything goes, says Zeus. Yara gets a report here, and the crowd is like, hey, what's the holdup? What's going on? something's wrong. Like, why isn't this match started already? And Yara announces that Lord Indra, who is scheduled to partake in match 3, is currently both absent and unreachable. So apparently they can't find him. They don't know where he is. That's a little bit weird considering like he should be very close to the arena. Like nobody's just looking in the hallway, I guess. But it is what it is. They can't reach him. They don't know where he's at. Crowds in the arena are shocked, including the likes of Shiva. And we see Suzaku is very firmly standing in the arena. He knows what's happening here. If Lord Indra does not appear by the start time, says Yara, he shall be disqualified. His opponent Suzaku, then as per stipulations of the tournament, will be deemed the winner. So this seems to be the plot. They want to jump this dude, make it so Suzaku can advance in the tournament without actually having to break a sweat, or at the very least, you know, they injure him enough to where he gets to the arena and Suzaku will have a much easier time, it seems. Crowd is going crazy. They're like, what are you thinking? What, are you kidding me? Don't mess with us, Indra. Did you piss your pants and run away? And Zeus says, this is the fearsomeness of that man. I suppose this too is strength. So it seems that Zeus understands what's happening, but he's gonna allow it because Zeus is here for all the chaos. The Hindu gods are saying, Shiva, Indra of all people, there's no damn way he'd run away like this. Agni says it must be something happened. Varna says no doubt about it. And Vishnu's like, let's go, Shiva, we have to go help Indra. Shiva just sits there quietly. And he remembers the Indra fight, right, with Rudra. And this is an awesome panel, probably the coolest panel we've ever seen of Indra and Rudra, you know, facing off with the lightning everywhere. We see that, you know, Rudra's scuffed up. It looks like the fight may have already begun, but Shiva was sitting there watching, and Indra says, aren't you coming too? Even if it's 2-on-1, it doesn't matter to me. Shiva then says in present day, it's fine if it's Indra, that guy won't lose. And the narration at the end says side match begins. Now, the interesting thing about this is, does this imply that Shiva joined the fight with Rudra and at some point it was a 2v1? Shiva said that it was Rudra that beat him, and he said he had never fought Indra in a proper 1v1. Initially, I got the impression that he was confirming that, you know, Rudra was the only one that fought him, but because of the end of this chapter and because of the confidence Shiva has, is it simply a situation where he's confident just because Indra was confident in fighting them 2v1? Or did he actually get involved in the fight? Some people thought that we were going to get retcons in this fight. This would be a major retcon if Shiva and Rudra both fought against Indra in this fight and then Indra lost. Could imply that Indra was stronger than both of them at the time. And now, based on Shiva's statements, he's actually even stronger than he was back then. Like I said, though, it could just be him hyping up the confidence he has to face any obstacle, to take on multiple opponents. He didn't actually when they fought, right? Because Shiva did give the credit to Rudra, right? And at the end of the day, Shiva has the statement he was the strongest Hindu god. He has the statement about being the peak of Svarga. So I don't think it changes anything. Like, Indra's not going to be stronger than Shiva at the end of the day from a statement perspective. But it's an interesting thing to think about. I want to get your guys' thoughts on that to round out the chapter. But what do you think about that? What are your predictions for this round? Do you think that Indra beats the two guys in the hallway, makes it to the arena, and then beats Suzaku? Do you think that these two guys beat him? Or do you think that he's weakened enough to lose to Suzaku and still look strong? All these things I think are possibilities. Don't forget there's another member of the assassination group, Azura Dragon, that we do not know where he is. So maybe it's a situation where Indra has the upper hand, the third guy drops in, and that may change things all the worse. As always though, if you enjoyed the video, drop a like, support it, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.